So let's go on to real estate as a shifting market. We've talked about interest rates. They're kind of affecting things. Mm-hmm. I've always heard people say that, the market's about to crash. I've heard people doom saying that for about 6-7 years now. Do you really think the market's going to crash?
I don't think the market's going to crash because there's still people that need to sell homes, and the world is becoming way more mobile that you can move to Bellingham as an option, moving from where you're moving from and make it an affordable move. And so there's still a lot of that happening. Bellingham is desirable, and the earth isn't making more land. Mm-hmm. And so statistically, real estate always pays.
Right.
And I don't see it crashing. Now, there's a caveat. And if we were to look into the future, and I'm a conspiracy nut, I think that there will be an issue 30 years from now, where right now people can't buy a home because they don't want to give up their 3%, 2%. And there's a lot of people, there's a huge influx of ownership that came in, and and with values going up, they're only growing in equity. So they're going to say, I'm never going to give up that mortgage. I'm going to go take this equity, buy my home, make this a rental. Times, you generate wealth that way. Well, that's like my position. And in 30 years, I'm going to be like, time to just ditch all my real estate and I'm going to retire.
Right.
Well, me and how many other people who got a 2, 3, 4% interest rate that are going to hold on to it for 30 years. And in 30 years, we're all going to be paying them off and being like, do I really want to keep this? So I don't know. If I'm going to guess, is it going to explode or implode? I think in 30 years, things might get cheaper.
Okay. Realistically, some of us can't wait that long.
Yeah, that's true. I know. Yep.
Shucks.
Well, that's the only good news I have then.
Well, I suppose we'll take it. Because, it's about the same thing from all the realtors I've talked to, where they're like, this is just kind of the new normal. And this maybe should have always been the normal.
Yeah, it's tough because historically, this is what we would call like the lowest part of our industry. Well, and it's happened before, but it's popped up fast. Right. It hasn't popped up yet. And so that's what makes people a little nervous, where you're like, okay, is this the new norm? Because it does drop and then it picks up, right? And we saw that after 07, 08, 09, where then it went up again. And that's a trend, but the trend's not trending. And so is it political? Probably. People don't want to make the move not knowing what the future is. And so there's a lot of factors playing into what I consider the market heading into.
Well, it's funny that you brought up politics, because one of the questions I was going to bring up was the current Trump administration. Now, who would have thought that another Trump term would be marked by confusion, strife in the government, some maybe high emotions from some people?
Sure.
We've also seen an exodus, and at the risk of sounding political for viewers, we've seen a lot of people from traditionally blue states like California. They've been leaving. They've been going to other states that tend to be a little bit more red. We're seeing them become a little bit more purple. Washington seems to be a big destination for some of these locations. Like Whatcom County is expected to grow by 40%.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, like that's over 10 years. Insane. That's a different county at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So like from your perspective, you must be getting a little bit excited. It's going to be good money.
Yeah, there's never a bad time for title insurance.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Because there's always a fish bigger, and there will be a life experience. Like in my experience, and I only talk that because life experiences drive the market right now for us. We see a lot of death, divorce, and relocations and upgrades because people have to. And so there's always a buyer out there for the home. And maybe that's my optimistic attitude about it, because Bellingham is being discoverable. It is people typically come here, discover it and love it. And so I always feel confident about what title and escrow is doing.
Interesting. Because I've heard that from other like insurance related fields where it's usually a pretty stable market more often than not.
Yeah. And again, we talk about volume is where we make our money. So if things aren't moving as much, because so many people could, only a certain amount of people could have life events, it gets tough.
Right.
Yeah. And so but we have to be dynamic enough to pivot with the market. So there's a little dance there.
No, fair enough. So coming back to the Trump administration specifically, so one of the things that he's been very hawkish about is that he wants domestic industries to grow. So he's going to like hike tariffs up because we want American steel, so on and so forth. Do you think the Trump administration is also going to meaningfully incentivize more house construction, more condos being built?
Not if they're going to be built out of wood.
Really?
That Canadian wood is really important to our my industry, because I have enough friends who say, yeah, there are places where you could buy American lumber. The trees are young. They're not as weak. They're not as strong. Canadian wood is older wood. It's a different type of hardier wood. And so the lumber industry really quickly saw, and that translates to, okay, so how much is OSB? Okay, how many homes did we want to build in the next 5 years? Okay, that's going to be a reduction in, okay, so we're going to build that many homes, and, the math has to math for people who make a business out of building homes.
Right. So long as this trade war is going on, probably going to be a little bit slow, huh?
That's tough.
Oh.
Yeah. And we saw that with our builders just a few years ago, where they're, the considerations like, hey, we're going to hold off on building so much because you don't want to overextend yourself on so many future projects when wood prices, OSB went from, 20 to $80 a sheet.
Jeez.
I think it dropped down now, but like that is a price where if I'm building a house and the price went up, I didn't sign that into my contract a year ago. So I'm eating it in the construction costs of my, that's like the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do business if that's the cost. So it does play a real quick effect on our local industry.
No kidding. And like in your estimation, I know everyone's got their thoughts, but like, do you think this trade war is going to get finished soon and then we could just go back to building homes?
Man, I don't even know what's real anymore, so I have no idea.
I'm glad I'm not the only one in that state then.
So it only makes sense to play cooperatively. Like I think MIT came out with a program and it was what's more beneficial to play cooperative or not. And you win more of the times if you play cooperative. So I hope we win by playing cooperative.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Again, who would have thought that something like this would have happened with a Trump 2.0?
Right. Now I'm always finding a way to make the best of the situation. So part of me, we had a lot of Canadian buyers. We have a lot of Canadian owners because we're right next to Canada. And it makes sense for those individuals to kind of diversify their portfolio. Now, emotionally, some of them are saying, I don't want to buy in America anymore. That means I get to help my agents with a different strategy. And so there are strategies that I implement with my agents that don't rely on the Canadian market that has proven successful.
What do those strategies look like? Like, how can you avoid that?
Sure. So if you're selling a home in Point Roberts or Blaine or Birch Bay that have a really high Canadian ownership rate because it's right there, timeshare, you buy an extra thing, you own it, it's great. But why not make that option for people down in Portland or Spokane or Omak or Wenatchee? And then you specifically target people who don't have any sort of desirable land that they could own a desirable piece of land in Whatcom County.